Communication breakdown. Is porn causing a communication breakdown between you and your partner? If so, watch this video because I'm Dr. Trish Leigh and I'm going to explain 3 things to you in this video. Number 1, when it comes to communication, there is the difference between attack and approach. Secondly, I'm going to share with you how attack and approach affects your brain and your partner's brain and how it throws off the dynamics in communication. And lastly, I'm going to give you your brain tip for the day, which is invulnerability as the solution to improve communication between you and your partner and be able to use those communication skills to heal your brain, help your partner heal her or his brain, and be able to move forward in your porn brain reboot journey. Okay, so let's jump in. We're talking about communication here. Now, communication is one of the most fundamental aspects of quality of life. And I know that because on top of being certified in sex addiction recovery, I also have a PhD in communication. So communication after health and wellness is the number 2 thing that people consider to be the most valuable in their life. So let's talk about how you can improve your communication skills while you're going through this journey of healing your brain and getting back on track. Okay, number 1 is attack versus approach. Now, attack is obviously when you feel like someone is attacking you and then you attack back. And I'm going to give you a story in just a minute. So make sure you stay with me because the story is going to bring it clear to you. You're going to fully understand how to use this. So when your partner says something to you about your porn brain reboot and you immediately feel irritated and attacked and angry and you attack back, that is not the way to improve your relationship. So before we go on to how to improve your relationship, I want you to understand that you attack because you feel weak. Strong people do not need to attack because they're confident, they're self-assured, they're living a life of dignity and integrity. So if your partner asks you something about how your porn brain reboot is going, that is approach. So they are hopefully using an approach and not an attack strategy. They're asking you, how's this going? Or if they find something, and that's the story in a second, they find something that makes them feel uncomfortable and they come to you and they say, you know what? I saw this email that makes me uncomfortable. I saw this web page. This makes me not feel safe in our relationship. Your job in your porn brain reboot when it comes to your partner is to improve communication and build trust. And feeling attacked and attacking back is not the way. So when you feel attacked, it's perceived. It's perceived because of shame. And we know that porn is built and kept going. It's perpetuated by a shame cycle. So if your partner asks you about something and there's some merit to it, or even if there's not, you feel shame about the journey that you've had watching pornography and the content makes you feel uncomfortable. We've talked before about how it violates moral congruency many times. So if your partner brings it up to you, you immediately have a spike of shame, which means you've attacked yourself because you're feeling weak because of the position that you've put yourself in by consuming pornography. Now, you know, the caveat is it keeps sucking you back. So you have to gain strength in the journey to be able to break that cycle, but you have the strength. By feeling weak, you can't use that strength. So when you attack back, or you might not have even been attacked in the first place, when you attack, you are coming towards your partner from a perspective of weakness because your partner may not have attacked you. And secondly, there's no need to attack if you are strong. So the solution is to get strong, and we're going to get there in a second. But understand that that's the feeling that you're likely having in the moment. So attack is a knee-jerk reaction that happens because of shame and guilt. So now that you know that, you are going to control your brain so that you don't attack in these conversations. You're going to learn how to approach. So what approach is, that comes from strength, that is controlled, that is thoughtful and intentional. Approach means you move towards a situation, whether you have to respond to it or, better yet, initiate it. That would be amazing for building communication and rebuilding your relationship. So when you move towards the uncomfortable feelings, you're approaching them. And I'm going to give you the trifecta in a minute of how to do that. So hopefully you understand the difference between attack is you immediately react because you feel weak, because of the shame that you have inside. Even if there's nothing going on at this moment, it takes time for that shame to go away. So you react and you attack back because you no longer feel like you're an equal with your partner. Because when you feel weaker, equality has been disrupted in the partnership. And you've probably heard me say before, to have a healthy partnership, you have to have two healthy partners. So your job is to make yourself the healthiest version of yourself, and hopefully your partner is doing the work too to become the healthiest version they can be of themselves. So when you both are becoming healthier, your relationship becomes healthier. That's how you make lemonade out of lemons, by approaching and intentionally and thoughtfully moving forward in this process, even though you feel uncomfortable. Okay, so that's attack and approach. Let me tell you what attack and approach does to your brain and your partner's brain. This is number 2. What happens in your brain when you're spiked with shame or guilt or you feel attacked is your brain starts using that extra fast brain speed for anxiety. You feel that. So when your partner comes to you and says, I feel uncomfortable about this thing that's going on, and you're like, don't accuse me of this, that, the other thing, yada, yada, yada. That is because you've had this spike of the cortisols rushing through your system. Your high beta is through the roof, which simultaneously makes it so that the extra slow speed starts cranking and you're feeling overwhelmed and you're shutting down. That is not how you solve problems. That's how you get more of them, using the speeds in these extremes. How you solve problems is popping up that medium brain speed for calm focus so you can respond intentionally and approach the conversation. So you need to bring these two speeds down, bring this one up to be able to move forward. So does your partner. So if your partner has been making assumptions because you won't talk to her, then she feels uncomfortable and her anxiety is growing. That fast brain speed has been growing in her brain across the last days, weeks, and months. So my mentor says that when you do that, when you don't communicate with your partner, you are keeping anxiety in the system. The system being your relationship. So if you don't talk to your partner and you can't approach, you're putting your partner in a position where they end up making assumptions because they don't know what is going on. And if they always approach you and say, will you please tell me what's going on? Where are we in this journey? And you shut them out, they start to make assumptions. You know how that goes. If you don't know the truth, you go towards assumptions and illusions, and it makes everything worse. What makes everything better is when your partner's brain comes down because you're communicating regularly. They no longer have this fast speed cranking. They no longer have this slow speed of overwhelm, creating these feelings of betrayal. And you approach and say, I just want to check in with you and tell you what's going on. It takes anxiety out of the system. It helps you feel better. It helps her feel better. And now you move towards connection instead of disconnection. When your brains are cranking out here in the extremes and there's attack going back and forth, it disconnects you. And you know from our conversations before that connection is what life is about. Porn leads you into isolation, and it makes you want to keep going back for more isolation, and it makes you think that that's how you can feel good. how you can really feel good and have joy and peace and reach your full potential and live the life that you were meant to live, thriving and just rocking out at your best capabilities, is through connection with others, especially the others that you love. So there's really only two emotions. There's fear and love. And when you keep anxiety in the system because there's no communication, you keep fear in the system for yourself and for your partner. When you open up and communicate, you put love in the system and you dissipate the fear so that you can move forward and connect. You can feel connected. She can feel connected. You can both get healthier and stronger. Your brains start making the medium speed, and you're able to move forward in this journey from a position of internal strength, not one of weakness and attack. So, how do you do that? Number 3 is our brain tip for the day. You have to remember that you are invulnerable. You are stronger than you know. You have it in you. You've just forgotten because you've been in this pattern where you go back to porn for your strength. You don't need porn to feel strong because it's fake. You are strong. You just have to remember it. And then, of course, me being the pragmatic optimist, you have to start taking action steps to prove to yourself that you're strong. And when you move towards and approach your partner for the difficult conversations and you do it out of a place of love, you are being strong. You share, you open up and you're vulnerable with your partner. And when you're vulnerable, nothing can hurt you. You are invulnerable. That is the solution. And it happens in 3 ways. 1, you're used to, and 2, you have to grow up. The science shows that these 2 are delayed in development for people who have a long history of porn consumption. So here they are. This is how you're going to do it. This is how you're going to be vulnerable. Number 1 is physically. And you've probably already mastered that one because people who watch a lot of pornography tend to become very physical because they've conditioned their brain to become physical. They are looking at the physical all the time. Number 2 is mental, your thoughts. Share your thoughts. When you share your thoughts with your partner, you let them in a new way. And number 3, this is the trickiest, is share your feelings. You have to share your thoughts and feelings with your partner, and it's best to do it at least in a weekly check-in when you're in this porn brain reboot. Check in and say, I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. I'm really struggling this week. I'm feeling anxious and irritable, and I'm used to soothing myself and taking the edge off, and now I can't, and I need to find a new way to do that, and it's really stressing me out. Or, I have this bill due and it's stressing me out, or I have this project at work and it's overwhelming me. Share your feelings. If you're not used to doing that, look up a feelings chart or a feelings wheel. Read all those feelings and start trying to identify your own feelings so that you're better able to share. Okay, now here's the story. One of my favorite clients, and I guess they're all my favorite, but one that I've been working with for a very long time, came to me last week and told me that he and his wife are having a ton of communication problems. They haven't really spoken. They're just faking it for the last week and a half because 2 weekends ago, she saw a text come through on his phone from another woman's name. And in her journey, she's learned that she has to stay on her side of the street and worry about her development and to grow herself up and to become the healthiest version. So she did that. And she approached him and said, I saw this woman's name on your text. I didn't open the text. I didn't even touch your phone. I just saw it pop up and it's making me feel uncomfortable. And I assume it's a robo text because you all probably know robo texts they're not actually women, you know that, right? They're spam bots that are texting you, trying to bait you back in, but you're stronger than that, so you won't follow that bait. So she said, I assume it's one of those, robo texts. He freaked out. And he said, don't accuse me. I'm not sharing my thoughts with you. Now I have to share my thoughts, my private thoughts I have to share with you. And he attacked her, which you could see later on, but barely see. And when you've been in a porn habit for a long time, Mental and emotional growth is where the work is. So then he said, don't ever check my phone again. Don't look at my stuff. What does that do? That keeps anxiety in the system. And if you back it up, that's a reaction because he's sick of these robocalls, because he's been doing the work and he's been successful. We've been working together. He's gaining traction and momentum. And now his wife sees a robocall and it dares to throw everything backwards. And now he has to have another conversation with her. Yes, he does. Because that is how you grow. That is where the growth is. So if you can muster up the strength to not react and to think about it, and we know empathy grows in this journey so that you can see how she might be feeling. So she sees another woman's name pop up, and when she asks him, he denies it or, out of shame doesn't want to talk about it. But you have to. So you have to say, it's a robocall and I get them all the time and I'm deleting them and I haven't followed the clickbait into it. I am strong. I'm feeling fine in this journey. Those texts mean nothing, but I have been struggling with this, or, I'm feeling really strong right now. And in that communication, the invulnerability happens, not just physical, but mental and emotional. Those are opportunities. Approach means, it's a theory actually. Approach inhibition theory shows that when the opportunities come to you to grow, you can take them. You can respond and take them. Not that we want to. I joke all the time. Here we grow again. I can't wait till the growth levels off a little and gives me a break. But the growth is how you become the better version of yourself. So when the hard times come to you this week, take them. Embrace them. Walk away in the moment. If you have this high beta cortisol spike, walk away. Say, I will talk to you about this in a few minutes. Let me gather my thoughts. Let me see how I'm feeling about this. Come back, share with your partner. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be a 3-hour discussion. So if you plan the check-ins, you can plan them for 10 minutes. She checks in with you, how she's feeling and thinking. You check in with her, how you're feeling and thinking. Not about physical things, about your thoughts and emotions. And I know that's going to help you out. If you do one thing in this recovery to repair your relationship, that's it. Okay, if you're looking for help on this journey, please reach out to me at drtrishleigh.com. I have programs that fit all shapes and sizes, and I would absolutely love to help you out because now's the time. You need to leave the habit behind, repair your relationships, get back on track for you, and then help it rebuild the trust and the empathy and the communication in your relationships so you can feel really good about them and feel strong, be in dignity and integrity so you can rock out your best life. Okay, and remember, control your brain or it'll control you.